Okay, wow, I figured out how to play D&D using ChatGPT, and I'm really excited about it. It all started today, waking up desiring to play D&D or to do something about D&D today. So I found this video, Moldway Basic D&D 1981, the edition that made D&D fun again. This is brought to you by Daddy Rolls a 1. I've watched his videos before. He's pretty good. Hey, look at that girl. Okay. Now let's go to my Patreon page where I've been documenting my D&D play in the last hour. So I linked Daddy Rolls a 1, his video, on my Patreon page because it has this image. And he's a pretty good YouTuber about D&D. Okay. Daddy Rolls a 1. That's pretty funny. I just want to play D&D. I grew up on D&D. Well, a friend introduced me to it, and it took over my imagination. Sadly, I lost all of my original stuff, loaning it to a guy, and I never saw my books again. Sad, but that's another story. So here I am, age 57, on a Saturday afternoon, and all I've been thinking about all day is basic Dungeons and Dragons. One question I have is, how do you play the dang thing? That is a subject of debate. Many play with house rules, but I've always been curious about how is it supposed to be properly played. What was the intention of the creators? Is there a right way and a wrong way to play? Are the rules just a guide? Is anything really set in stone? Can you just play however you want? Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. I just want to play basic Dungeons and Dragons. ChatGPT said, "That's the spirit. Basic Dungeons and Dragons is perfect for bold adventuring without the bloat. Just you, your imagination, a few dice, and maybe a castle full of weirdos and monsters. Let's get you rolling." That's pretty funny that it said weirdos. So, what do you need? Here's a quick checklist to dive into basic D&D, original Moldway Cook Edition, circa 1981 to 1983. The basic rules. You can find scans or reprints online legally. The 2018 Rules Cyclopedia or BECMI box sets. Or I can walk you through character creation and basic rules right here. Actually, you can get the basic rules as a PDF file. You just type it in and it gives you the PDF file and you can read the whole thing right there. Dice at minimum D20 for attacks and saves, D6 for most damage and monster, HD. Optional D4, D8, D10, D12. Character sheet, super simple. I can generate one for you with name, class, fighter, magic user, cleric, thief, elf, dwarf, or halfling. Stats, strength, dexterity, etc. Hit points, armor class, gear, adventure module, or dungeon. I can run a solo session for you right now or help you build your own dungeon or town to explore. So by this time I was starting to get pretty impressed and intrigued by what this ChatGPT could do for me. It was asking all the right questions. Want to start right now? Let's begin with character creation. Answer these questions. Do you want to roll stats the classic way, 3d6 in order, or choose a class first? Which class interests you most? Fighter, thief, cleric, magic user, elf, dwarf, or halfling? Do you want to play solo? With companions, I can provide party members, or just generate a character and setting first. Once you tell me that, we can start the game within minutes. Kobolds, gold, weird spells, and dungeon doors await. I just want to be a fighter named Delric. Armed with a sword and a shield, he wears chainmail. ChatGPT said, "Perfect, let's keep it classic." Dalric the fighter. Level 1 fighter, human, lawful alignment, or neutral if you prefer. Strength 15, dexterity 12, constitution 13, intelligence 9, wisdom 10, charisma 11. Stats can be adjusted if you'd like different roles or priorities. Equipment, longsword 1d8 damage, shield plus 1 AC, chainmail armor AC base 5, shield lowers it to AC 4, backpack with 1 week of iron rations, water skin, 50 feet of rope, tinderbox, small coin pouch with 20 GP. Hit points 6. Fighter gets 1d8 hit points per level plus 1 from constitution bonus. To hit roll, you hit AC 9 on a roll of 10 plus using basic D&Ds to hit tables. Where is Dalric? You stand at the edge of Red Hollow, a small frontier village near the mouth of the Wormspire Hills. Rumors speak of an ancient ruined keep not far from town. Something about old magic, sealed vaults, and something called the Heart of Rust. The local barkeep, a one-eyed woman named Marta, says, "You head out there, Dalric? Just you, a sword, and a grin? Heh, brave or stupid, maybe both. Would you like to head straight to the ruined keep? Visit the village to gather info or gear? Or start from another scene, like walking up in the dungeon itself? Your sword is sharp, the dice are ready, just say the word." ChatGPT said, "Excellent, a wise fighter learns the lay of the land before plunging into darkness. Let's step into the village of Red Hollow, where the air smells like wood smoke, spilled ale, and rumors." Red Hollow overview. A small muddy village nestled at the edge of a dying forest where adventurers pass through and locals eye them like wolves and weather. Unpredictable but necessary. Population about 60. Mood suspicious of strangers, but silver always talks. Notable locations: the Bent Coin Tavern, run by Marta One-Eye, ex-mercenary turned barkeep. Gildan's General Store, everything from lantern oil to sausages. Temple of the Old Road, tended by a quiet priest named Brother Solon. The Blacksmith's Forge, run by Runk, a half-orc with a broken tusk and a heart of iron. Village Square, always something weird happening here. Preaching, gambling, duels. You're standing at the center of the square. It's early afternoon. Kids are chasing a one-eyed chicken. A man is trying to sell dragon teeth from a cart. They're just pointy rocks. From here you can enter the Bent Coin Tavern, visit the general store, speak to Brother Solon at the temple, talk to the blacksmith, Runk, approach the shady fellow in the alley, or something else. Ask around, search for rumors, or just observe. What would you like Dalric to do first? I want to go to the general store and buy enough food for 3 days. I also want to buy some water skins that I can put water into. I didn't know that I already had a week of rations and a water skin on me. Great choice. Nothing ends a dungeon crawl faster than an empty belly and a dry mouth. ChatGPT is a pretty good DM. Gildan's General Store. The wooden sign creaks above the door. A painted loaf of bread next to a rusty lantern. Inside it smells of dust, dried meat, and old oil. Shelves are cluttered with rope, nails, jars of pickled roots, and bundles of herbs tied in twine. Behind the counter stands Gildan, a thin man with wiry gray hair and fingers stained with ink. He eyes you with a merchant's mix of suspicion and opportunity. Well, now, big fellow with a sword, that usually means gold to spend, or trouble. What'll it be? Delrec's shopping list. Rations, iron, 3 days, 5 gold pieces. Dry preserved food, hard biscuits, smoked meat, dried apples. Water skins, 2. 2 GP total. Tough leather skins, each holds 1 day's water. That'll be 7 gold for the lot, Gildan says, tapping his scales. And I'll even throw in a strip of dried pear bark. Good for the teeth. You hand over 7 GP. You now have 13 GP remaining. Updated inventory. Rations, 3 days. Water skins, 2. Currently empty. Can be filled at a well or stream. Gildan leans in as he wraps the food. If you're thinking of heading to that old keep, don't go through the West Trail. Folks say something's moving under the ground there lately. Something big. He smiles like a man who just sold you a shovel for your own grave. Would you like to head to another village location? Temple, tavern, forge? Stop by the well to fill your water skins? Ask Gildan more questions? Or begin your journey to the ruined keep? Your pack's heavier, your purse lighter, but Delric is ready to move. I asked Gildan if there's a level 1 dungeon nearby that I could solo. I'm just looking for some XP and some gold, ChatGPT said. Gildan raises an eyebrow, then chuckles and leans in over the counter like he's letting you in on a well-worn local secret. Ah, you're one of those types. Right. Listen close. He glances left and right, then lowers his voice. There's a place not far from here, Old Barrow Hill, just northeast past the Standing Stones. Used to be a burial mound back in the tribal days, before the kingdom came. Quiet now, mostly. Sometimes hunters say they see lights moving there at night. No one's claimed it officially, so if you go in and come out alive, anything you find is yours. Low risk, he adds with a sly grin, unless you're afraid of bones that rattle. He scribbles a rough map on a scrap of parchment, more dots and guesses than real directions, but good enough. New location unlocked, Old Barrow Hill. Estimated challenge level 1 to 2. Known hazards, undead rumors, unstable tunnels, ancient traps. Possible rewards, grave goods, forgotten relics, old coinage. Gildan tosses in a small vial as you turn to go. Bit of lamp oil on the house. You'll need it more than me. Inventory update. Map to Old Barrow Hill. Small vial of lamp oil, 1 use. Would you like to fill your water skins at the village well before heading out? Pick up a lantern or torch at the store? Visit another place? Tavern, forge, temple? Or head straight to Old Barrow Hill for some solo delving? Your blade is ready. The crypt is waiting. I want to buy a lantern and some torches, ChatGPT said. Gildan's eyes light up. Nothing gets him happier than an adventurer with gold and a healthy fear of the dark. Good thinking, he says, bending to rummage beneath the counter. Nothing worse than fighting blind, unless it's fighting blind and on fire. He sets a few items on the table. Available light sources, lantern, 10 gold pieces. Burns oil, casts a steady light in a 30-foot radius. Can be shuttered to dim or focus. Burns 1 flask of oil per 4 turns, roughly 40 minutes. Torches, bundle of 6, 1 GP. Each burns for 1 hour but gives off smoke and can't be easily shuttered. Good for throwing or lighting things on fire in a pinch. I'd say bring both, Gildan advises. The lantern's steady, but if you drop it, it's useless. Torches are cruder, but sometimes crude saves your life. Cost, lantern 10 GP. Torches 6, 1 GP. Total 11 GP. You hand over the gold. You now have 2 GP remaining. Inventory update. Lantern filled with 1 use of oil. 6 torches. 1 small vial of lamp oil spare. Rations 3 days. 2 water skins empty. Sword and shield. Chainmail. Map to Old Barrow Hill. Gildan smirks as he wraps the torches in oilcloth. If you do find gold in that barrow, remember who sold you the light to see it. Would you like to visit the village well to fill your water skins? Go to another location, tavern, temple, forge, or set out now for Old Barrow Hill. Let me know and we'll head into the wild. You make your way through the winding lanes of Red Hollow, past crooked cottages and weary stairs, until you reach the village well, a mossy stone circle shaded by a gnarled tree. A wooden bucket creaks on its rope as a barefoot child hauls it up, spilling cold, clear water into a trough for goats. You nod. The child nods back and you step forward. Using a dipper and a bit of cloth to strain the leaves and grit, you carefully fill both of your water skins with clean water. The air is cool here, and for a brief moment, everything is still. The water's good, says an old woman sitting nearby, shelling beans. Better than what you'll find out in the hills. Drink when you can. I certainly do drink when I can. Inventory updated. Water skins 2 filled. Each holds enough for 1 day of travel adventuring. You're now fully equipped, fed, watered, armed, and lit. The sun is dipping lower, shadow stretching from the trees beyond the village. If you leave now, you might reach Old Barrow Hill before dusk, or camp partway if needed. Would you like to set out immediately for Old Barrow Hill? Visit one last location, tavern, temple, forge, or rest for the night and depart in the morning. Your journey is about to begin in earnest. You return once more to Gildan's general store, the little bell above the door jingling like it's judging you. Gildan looks up from tallying bundles of dried root and smirks. Ah, back again. Thought you had everything you needed for crawling into a crypt and not dying. You step up to the counter. Need something for the nerves, you say. Ah, one of those kinds of quests. He rummages through a cabinet behind the counter and returns with a small cloth pouch, a simple clay pipe, and a flint and steel kit wrapped in oilcloth. Available items. Tobacco pouch, good for 10 smokes, 1 GP. Clay pipe, sturdy but plain, 1 GP. Flint and tinder, 1 GP. Total cost, 3 GP. Gildan raises an eyebrow as you count out the coins. Well, unless you found a silver coin in your boot since we last spoke, you're short. You check your pouch. You currently have 2 GP. Options. Buy just 2 of the items. For example, pipe and tobacco or tobacco and flint. Ask Gildan for a deal. Dungeon Delver's discount. Try to barter something from your pack. Say you'll be back after your first treasure haul. How would you like Delric to handle it? Gildan nods approvingly as you drop two gold pieces onto the counter. Solid choice, he says, sliding the tobacco pouch and clay pipe towards you. You get through Old Barrow Hill in one piece. Come back and I'll throw in a flint for half. He wraps the pipe in a strip of old linen and ties it off with twine. The tobacco smells rich and earthy, probably a local blend with a bit of mossy bite. Not fancy, he adds, but it burns clean. Better than what the old guards used to smoke, and they made it to retirement, mostly. Inventory update. Clay pipe, tobacco pouch, 10 uses. Remaining gold, 0 GP. Your pack is full, your purse is empty, and your spirit is quietly burning. Would you like to head out immediately toward Old Barrow Hill? Light up and take a reflective moment before departing, or speak to someone else in the village one last time? The road is open, the crypt awaits. You find a weathered wooden bench beneath a leaning tree just outside the edge of the village. A quiet place where the air is still and the crows watch from the fence posts like silent sentinels. Beyond the hill, the trees lean toward the east, where the ruined barrow waits. You settle in with a creak of chainmail and the weight of your pack beside you. From your pouch, you retrieve the clay pipe and tobacco, pinching a small amount into the bowl with practiced fingers. No flint? No problem. A passing farmer chewing a blade of grass and hauling a wheelbarrow sees you fumble and tosses you a spark stone with a wink. For luck, he says, you'll need it. You strike the spark, catch the leaf, and soon your pipe is glowing gently, curling blue-gray smoke into the early dusk. It tastes earthy, calming, just bitter enough to sharpen your mind. For a moment, the world is still. The sword is sheathed. The lantern is unlit. The crypt is quiet, for now. You sit there for a long moment, watching the smoke rise, wondering what's waiting for you beneath Old Barrow Hill. Gold, bones, glory, or maybe just one more story worth telling. When you're ready, just say the word, and Delric's adventure begins in earnest. After I smoke, I start my adventure towards Old Barrow Hill, ChatGPT said. You finish your smoke, tapping the ashes from your pipe against the base of the bench. The glow fades, the last wisp of smoke curls into the wind, and your moment of calm is done. It's time. You rise, sling your pack over your shoulder, check the sword at your side, and feel the comforting weight of the shield on your back. With a nod to the village, and maybe a quiet promise to return, you set off down the worn trail that leads northeast toward the standing stones and beyond them, Old Barrow Hill. The journey to the barrow. The sun sinks slowly behind the trees, turning the sky red and gold. The path narrows as you pass through thickets and tangled roots until you reach the stone circle, ancient monoliths leaning like tired giants in a clearing of dry grass. It said the stones predate the kingdom, the barrow, even memory. Beyond them, the hill rises. Covered in wild weeds and crumbling earth, Old Barrow Hill looms like a forgotten knuckle of the world. Half-buried stones mark what used to be an entrance, now cracked and sunken into the hillside. A black hole in the earth waits there, wide enough for a man to enter, barely. You feel it before you hear it. hush in the wind, a breath in the stone. The barrow is waiting. Your equipment check. Summary. Sword and shield, chainmail, AC4, lantern with 1 oil use, 6 torches, rations for 3 days, 2 full water skins, tobacco and pipe, no gold remaining. Would you like to light your lantern or a torch and enter now? Search the barrow entrance first for traps or signs of passage. Circle the hill to scout for other ways in. Take a moment to prepare, say a prayer, or draw your sword. Dalric stands at the mouth of darkness. What's your next move? I enter the dungeon, eager for adventure. ChatGPT said, you draw your lantern from your pack, light the wick with a practiced hand, and hold it high as you step into the dark. The flame flickers, casting long, shaky shadows against damp stone. The air is cool and still, touched with a faint scent of old earth, mold, and something metallic, like rust or blood. Your boots crunch gently on gravel as you duck slightly to pass beneath the arched entrance. Behind you, daylight fades to a sliver. Before you, the barrow swallows sound. Dungeon, Old Barrow Hill, level 1. You move slowly down a sloped tunnel, the stone walls curved and ancient. After a short walk, the passage widens into a small chamber, roughly 20 feet across. Room 1, the offering room. Dust lies thick on the floor. You see a stone plinth in the center, cracked with a flat surface where once an offering may have rested. 2 old urns, one toppled, the other upright and sealed with wax. Scratches on the far wall, as if something was clawed or scraped there long ago. A narrow passage leads east, deeper into the barrow. You hear no sounds but your own breath and the soft creak of leather and metal. What would you like to do? You can inspect the plinths, open or examine the urns, check the scratch marks, search the rooms for traps or hidden doors, head east deeper into the crypt. Let the adventure begin, Dalric. The treasure and danger awaits. I thoroughly searched the room looking for anything of value. I check all the items in the room. I look for anything unusual. I search the room for traps or hidden doors. ChatGPT said, you take your time, slow, careful, methodical, lantern raised in one hand, your other resting on the hilt of your sword. Search the offering room, the stone plinth. You run your fingers over its surface. It's smooth, but in the middle there's a shallow depression, like something once sat here for a long time, perhaps a gem or small statue. A thin crack runs along the top. You gently pry it with your dagger, and a hidden compartment opens with a click. Inside, a small leather pouch with 15 silver pieces. A tiny bone charm shaped like a crescent moon, faintly warm to the touch. The urns. The toppled urn is empty, cracked, broken long ago. Nothing but dust and the brittle remains of dried roots. The sealed urn is heavier. You break the wax seal and carefully lift the lid. Inside, fine black powder. You're not sure what it is, but it smells faintly of herbs and iron. It could be old incense, ritual dust, or something stranger. You can collect it in a vial if desired. Thanks for listening. I will put in more text.